Hello, everybody. Welcome to Transcend with NNG. I am your host, Brittany Walker, also known as New Nation Goddess. Of course, here aiming to serve the underestimated, which are people of color, women, LGBTQ+, veterans, and individuals with disabilities. So for today, episode 5, we are going to be tapping into frequency number 4, environmental awareness. Again, guys, we are going through my program that we offer at New Nation Goddess Incorporated called the 8 Frequencies of Elevation. And again, today we will be talking about environmental awareness, being cognizant of what you're putting in and on your body, being cognizant of pollution, chemical emissions, GMOs, which is genetically modified objects, just being aware of the toxins and chemicals that we're really consuming that could be contributing to the chronic illnesses that are hindering our culture. A lot of chronic illnesses, strokes, diabetes, heart disease, things of that sort, Alzheimer's. Yes, they are diet related, which can contribute to the GMOs and the chemicals and toxins we just discussed. But a lot of it can just be bad conditions, environments that you stay in, like maybe perhaps living in a food desert where good food sources are not prominent, maybe living in an area where the pollution is prevalent, so your air quality is not as good. So we just want you to be aware of those things. So let's go ahead and get started for today. I always like to kick off each episode with the I am power statement. I am representing inspiration, affirmation, and manifestation. So for today, the I am power statement is I am learning the positive health outcomes that will protect my body from the various illnesses that hinder our culture. Ashe. So, of course, to go along with our power statement and the theme of the overall episode, we also like to give a great resource in the form of literature. It is very important, guys, for us to read as the underestimated. At one point, our culture, it was illegal for us to learn to read, write, be educated of any sort. So I want to make sure that we are tapping on actual books that you can read. We encourage reading a minimum of 10 pages a day to get you started. 10 minutes, guys, can literally be no more than 30 minutes of your morning, your afternoon. So taking some time away from social media, screen time like TV, even indulging in energy leaching or distractions that are not adding real value to your life. Take time to actually read to fuel your brain with the knowledge and power that you need. So for today, we are going to be highlighting African Holistic Health by Dr. Llaila, Afrika. May he rest in power. This book has so many great resources. I've discussed with you guys in prior episodes about Queen Afua being like the queen of alchemy in my eyes. And this to me would be the goddess of alchemy, because I want to go above queen. Even though she is Queen Afua, she is a very divine being. But Dr. Afrika for me would be that male counterpart, or that equal person, that God on that same level. So herbs, vitamins, minerals, amino based foods, recipes. It helps you determine your sexual personality types. It helps with crystals that align with your zodiac and how you operate, self-diagnosis charts, foods to avoid, male cycle, also how to get rid of various diseases, including cocaine addiction, AIDS, and many, many more. So yes, you heard it. Check out this book. It is very thick. It has a lot of great information, but Dr. Afrika, just for those of you who are watching on Spotify or other platforms where you can see the actual video, this book is so helpful. It was so beneficial for my journey as I started transcending and elevating and getting more clarity and not being on the bandwagon and not being brainwashed with what's being put out in media today, but what's actual facts and what's really going to help us rise up and conquer what's rightfully ours. So you guys check out this resource. That is the revised and the expanded version. So there is a different edition that came out before this one. So again, check it out. I will have that resource listed in the description of this episode. So moving forward, I also like to give a tea of the day. And today, guys, I'm doing what I like to call spa tea, just basic green decaffeinated tea. I added my normal zhuzh, my ginger, turmeric, and cinnamon. But went for a run this morning, somewhere around like 1.25 miles and 1.5 miles. Did some additional walking that made it right at about the 2 miles, but I felt like I didn't sweat like I wanted to. So typically green tea helps me flush out any unwanted toxins and chemicals, of course, with us talking about environmental awareness today. So cheers to you guys. If you want to discover more about the tea options and the herbs that I like to indulge in that helps you detox and cleanse the body, then feel free, of course, to get in contact with us by writing a message to this episode, or you can email us at info@nngconsulting.org. That's N as in new, N as in nation, and G as in goddess. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. So first, with environmental awareness, the things that I would like to touch on first is what we're actually putting in and on our bodies. Now, during our optimal wellness episode, last episode, number 4, we did talk about your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-beings. And in the physical part, we did talk about nutrition, making sure you're putting various food groups in your body each day, touching on all the food groups, make sure that you're having a variety of different colors. We even gave example of food color and options. But food is extremely, extremely important, guys, because just because you're buying something out the grocery store does not make it good for you. There is a reason why we have the FDA, or the Food and Drug Administration. There are nutrition labels on everything that you can buy in the grocery store. So you are able to see what you're really putting in and on your body. Just because it's on the shelf doesn't mean that you have to take it. It's up to you to decide if you really want to take that product. So I am encouraging for you guys to start reading your labels. Your labels literally list all of the ingredients that is inside of that product. There are so many ingredients nowadays that when you actually go look up those ingredients and notice the chemicals that they're adding to the food or the toxins that they're adding to the food, looking at those chemicals and or what their side effects or what they could lead to, typically leads to the different cancers, the heart disease, building up cholesterol in the body, adding to unwanted weight, which leads to obesity. We all know that obesity is the gateway drug to all the chronic illnesses. So we have to be mindful of what we're putting in our body. I was so shocked the first time that I really started paying attention to labels. Even after being a chef, we were not taught in culinary art schools to read the actual labels. We were taught how to butcher down the animal. We were taught how to make it in so many different forms to make it delectable, to make it look good and taste good for our customers and our clients. But we were not taught to actually look at labels. So after watching What the Health, the documentary on Netflix, August 13th, 2017, so that was 5 years this past August, I discovered what all is really put into foods. So it made me start looking at the labels. So one day I went to the store and I really started reading the labels of items that I have been consuming my entire life, and not just items that I liked, but items that my family liked, that my siblings eat, that my siblings feed to their kids, that my mom and dad got from their parents. So then my grandparents were already eating these items. And every single one of the items that I thoroughly loved the most had 80% chemicals, added sugars, toxins, things that were so detrimental to our bodies over time. It started making me think about my sugar addiction that then led to diabetes type 2. It started making me think about the bipolar disorder I once had with the chemical imbalances that I had within my body. It started making me think about my irritable bowel syndrome, my IBS. Why am I having issues with my gastrointestinal system? And I was diagnosed with that when I was 16. So after discovering and really going into Google, you don't even have to go to like a science book or anything spectacular. You can literally look at each item, copy and paste, type it in verbatim into the Google search bar, and you can research yourself what these actual ingredients are in the foods that we're eating. Once you learn what you're really putting into your body, you're then going to want to change and eliminate adding those chemicals. So having all natural and all organic foods, although it's expensive, or it can be expensive, I always encourage you to plan it out properly. Instead of that additional Amazon purchase, instead of getting those nails done, instead of paying for your weekly haircut, start budgeting your money so that you're able to afford better food items. And then it's baffling to me that organic is the most purest form before they add the genetically modified objects, or the GMOs, which are meant to give these food items shelf life. It's made to help fight off the parasites and bugs off of food. That's what they're telling us. But at the end of the day, it's for shelf life. So you could put something on the shelf and it can be on the shelf for 2 and 3 years and not have any issues whatsoever with spoiling or being able to last longer to make more money for that particular market or grocery brand. But it is so important to really indulge in whole natural foods. I think it's unfair that natural foods and organic foods are more expensive, and they're the ones who don't have the chemicals on it. They're the ones that don't have all the extra added bullshit that is really, really hindering us as a culture. So I encourage you to do that. If that's too much, I'm just going to say it. Agricultural revolution. Our ancestors came over here and we dominated farming and bringing food and produce and things into the United States that were very lucrative for people. So we need to tap into our heritage and start growing our own foods. You can go buy seeds for little to nothing. Just studying about how your soil should be. Being cognizant of fertilizer. A lot of fertilizer has pig remains in it and additional chemicals that are not beneficial to the body. I can go to a farm and eat a fresh piece of kale and have no problems. Then I can go to another farm and have a fresh piece of spinach and get sick from it because that farm used a specific fertilizer that my body can no longer handle, the animal byproducts or chemicals that were added to that food. So be aware of learning how to farm, even if you start off small with growing just your herbs or just your produce. But think about tapping into that, making that a project, making that a hobby, maybe a long-term goal that you might want to invest in to have in your backyard. There are people that are growing herbs in their houses. So guys, just as easily as you can, again, scroll on social media and look at everything else that's going on, you have time to research to see how can you bring better food options into your household. Same thing goes for beverages. Look on the cans of the soda. Look on the juice containers. 90% of the juices that are sold inside of stores are made from concentrate and include high corn fructose syrup. Those things are the devil for our bodies because it not only gives us visceral fat, which is stubborn belly fat, but it leads to obesity. It leads to the unwanted mucus in the body that starts clogging our arteries. It gives us cholesterol. In turn, years and years and years of that will then start producing cancer, heart disease, diabetes, stroke, all these chronic illnesses that are the top killers in the United States amongst our culture that are hindering us. So we have to start waking up and realizing, guys, what's really going on. Do we want to be a part of that number with depopulation? Do we want to be able to rise up and be able to be healthy enough to conquer for what's rightfully ours, to fulfill our purpose? And how we're going to do that is paying attention again to what we're putting in and on our body. Not only food, not only beverages, but also your household products, your toiletries, the knowledge from books that you're inserting. All of that is very important and conducive to your elevation and for you to be able to transcend to the next elevation. Going back to beverages, we talked about juices, sodas that are not so good for us. You also want to pay attention to alcohol. I mentioned that before. I know alcohol is fun. I know alcohol is everywhere. I know that it is the life of a party at one point in your life, but you also have to remember that alcohol only provides energy, toxins, chemicals, and sugar. It has no positive benefit for the body whatsoever. So as long as you're consuming that chemical, again, over time, those chemicals have reverse reactions to the body, including contributing to inflammation. So menstrual cramp every month for women, inflammation as far as unwanted fluid in the brain that causes headaches, migraines, memory loss, things of that sort. Alcohol is also contributed to Alzheimer's. So dementia, things that hinder our culture that we're like, oh, granny, all the aunts in our family and all the grannies in our family got cancer and all of them get Alzheimer's. And it's like, no, they don't. It's just that we're repeating the same bad cycle. So we have to be cognizant, guys, and wake up to what's really going on. I mentioned toiletries slightly a moment ago. Shout out to Garner's Garden as my favorite toiletry brand. I use all their products: shea butter, toothpaste, or tooth powder, my apologies, mouthwash, deodorant, solid deodorant, and spray deodorant now, bars of soap for my body. Okay, guys, lotion, chapstick. People don't think about those things that, oh, there's chemicals inside of those. I think about bath soap even. Growing up in the culture, I knew about Lever 2000. I knew about Irish Springs. I knew about Dial. That's what Granny and all the aunties had in their house. Once we got a little older, once people started making some money, then we got Dove. Then we got Olive Olay. And all of these things that are being promoted on TV about your skin and what it's going to do, and it's going to leave you moisturized. And I suffered from eczema really, really bad. I always had skin problems growing up. And did not realize that some of those problems were contributing to the soaps that I was using, the lotion and the moisturizers that I was using, even the laundry detergent that I was using. You heard that right, the laundry detergent. So I love Garner's Garden because they have so many options, even pet supplies, baby supplies, men's self-care, so for your beard and your face, women, intimate wash. It's just so many different options. I'm going to leave their information in this episode in the description, because if you go to Garner's Garden's website and use code New Nation Goddess as a discount code, then you will have accessibility to some wonderful options. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to go check them out. I used to be a heavy smoker. I smoked cigarettes 12 years straight. I mean, at the end, guys, I was literally going through one full pack in a day. So my gums, as you can see, are pink. But if you are looking at the Spotify video, but they used to be black. I used to have really, really yellow teeth. Like it was just a mess. Okay. So using this tooth powder has been very beneficial in clearing up any oral issues that I was actually having. So shout out again to Garner's Garden. I'll put their information in that description. I mentioned the laundry detergent. So shout out to the True Products, veteran owned, Black owned, located in Georgia, but they have an amazing product, laundry product line that has detergent for regular detergent, then for sensitive skin. They have liquid fabric softener. They recently came out with some fabric softener sheets that I'm really excited about, but you could check them out. And if you use code NNG, just the acronym for New Nation Goddess, then you are able to receive 15% off on your first order. So I'll leave that information in the description as well. So again, guys, not only am I giving you guys all organic and natural brands, but I'm also giving you underestimated brands, Black owned, melanin owned, people of color, women, LGBTQ plus, veterans, individuals with disabilities. It's all about helping us rise up and conquer what's rightfully ours. So house products. So even like dish detergent, my dish detergent, guys, is organic and natural, because whether you want to believe it or not, I don't know why we tend to keep pots for years and years and years. If it's not a cast iron skillet or, I can't even think of the name of what my grandma used to use. It was this specific steel brand, but it's certain brands that you can use over and over again. But if you're cleaning these products with chemical-based cleansers, disinfectants, things of that sort, then that will start to wear onto your cookware. And then when you cook, that then wears into your food. And then you eat these things. And you would think, oh, after heat will kill it. Heat will calm it down. No, not with chemicals. It doesn't work like that. So you have to be aware, again, of what you're putting in and on your body. Just slowly start trying out different products. There's so many different brands nowadays of products that you can use that are extremely important. Even when it comes to utensils, we encourage bamboo utensils because you have to remember plastic, you don't know where that plastic's coming from. You don't know how many times it's been recycled. You don't know what the cleaning process was like for those utensils. So just being aware of things like that is extremely important. Even drinking like a water bottle after it's been sitting in the sun or sitting in your car for long periods of time, you don't realize that chemicals are now swirling around in that water that are affecting your body. And although they might not affect you immediately, over time, guys, it is going to be not the best thing for your body. All right. So moving along to hair and skin products. So natural hair is extremely important for you not to put chemicals in our hair. Perming your hair years and years and years, those chemicals seep into your brain cells, guys. It starts affecting your memory. It starts affecting your blood cells. Dyeing your hair over and over again with high chemical products that affects you over time. Makeup. I know how much you might want to beat your face, but it's also important for you to realize what your natural beauty is and accepting that beauty and being able to not have to put on makeup. Now, there are a lot of animal cruelty and vegan brands, but you still have to read those labels, guys, because a lot of those still will contain certain chemicals to have shelf life again. So be aware of what you're putting on your face, on your head, anything around in this area, because again, it's going right into your pores and your pores absorb and digest those chemicals into your body. So be very, very cognizant of your face washes, your moisturizers, shampoo, conditioners, anything that you're putting on your hair for like for your scalp. I know a lot of women like to use edge control. Pay attention to those things and see if they have what you need. I mentioned even like toothpaste earlier, just to go back to toiletries. Even knowing like fluoride is on the periodic table, but too much fluoride in your body leads to multiple issues. One of the most prevalent has to do with your memory loss and dementia and Alzheimer's. And so there's a lot of toothpastes out that are full of fluoride. If you go to a all natural product, it does not contain fluoride. So be aware of those things. Also being aware of your outside environment, getting into nature, being one with vitamin D, knowing the importance of photosynthesis and what the sun does for our food and how that helps our body getting the best sources of nutrients that we need, vitamins and minerals, macronutrients, micronutrients. All right, guys. So I mentioned chemical emissions earlier. Everybody wants these new age cars and everybody wants to follow the Joneses, but you also need to be aware of what type of chemical emissions is coming from that car. What type of chemical emissions are coming from factories that you may work in or warehouses that you may live by. You need to be aware of what type of air quality that you're surrounded in. If you're always outside and if you're steadily breathing in poor air quality, that's not going to be the best for your lungs and it's not going to be the best for your body. So being able to research those things and be aware of those things is extremely important. And we encourage you to start doing so today. Global warming, a topic that is something similar to politics and religion. A lot of people don't want to touch on it. A lot of people don't want to go with what's beyond or what's not right in front of us. And sometimes you have to think outside the box and really be realistic about what's going on in the world with all the trash that we're dumping into the ocean, with all the chemical emission that we're letting off, guys, with all the trash and the pollution that's in water nowadays. The fact that the equator, the area that are the land areas that are by the equator are experiencing way higher than normal temperatures. This is a wake-up call that we're slowly destroying the earth. You also have to even look at sea levels. Being located or being from Texas, we are aware of the low sea levels in Texas. Being that I was raised in Houston, I went to Galveston often. So if it floods, it floods. But then there's a city or a suburb within Houston called Jersey Village, and it's known as having the lowest sea level in the United States, and that it drops at 0.5 centimeters every single year. So that means that by the time it's like 2076, like Jersey Village could be completely underwater. So thinking about things and knowing things like that will help you be cognizant of, what are we doing to our earth? What are we doing to our land? Are we operating at the best way? Why are people wanting to go get land outside of Earth? Why are people wanting to tap into other planets? It's because they know something about Earth that we don't. So just be aware again and research and know what's around you. You have to remember, Earth has every single thing that you need to heal, to sustain, to operate fully. All right, guys. So I did talk about the agricultural revolution earlier, and I just want to tap on it one more time, that it is extremely important for us to learn how to grow our own food. I love that there are so many programs, and I apologize for those who are not watching the video if I gulped taking a sip of my tea, but there's so many school programs now that allows gardening for children. I had the opportunity when I was living chef life to go do a gardening class with an elementary school twice a week. And I loved it because the kids were so involved. They were so in tune. And then it was fun at the end of the semester when you could take home what you started, learning how to transfer from a plastic bag to a paper cup, and then from a paper cup to a pot, and then a pot into the ground, just knowing how to really sustain and grow our own food. So again, using the gifts that our ancestors mastered to sustain, we should be able to tap into those same things as well. All right, guys. So there's a couple of businesses that I would like to acknowledge before we wrap up on today's episode. I would like to again shout out to Phil Garner with Garner's Garden. Been rocking for now 5.5 years, almost 5.5 years. So many great products to offer. I will have their information in the description of this episode. Shout out to Real with their bamboo toilet tissue. We recently also tried Bim Bamboo, which is pretty good so far. I like to tap into different options. But toilet paper is something I did not tap into earlier. Extremely important. Just because it's cheap and you can go to the dollar store and get so many rolls for $1 does not mean that that's the best thing that you should be wiping in your genital area, because those chemicals, your genital area is absorbing them a bit quicker. So if you're having itching, rashes, common UTIs, STDs, bacterial vaginosis, that can all be contributed to your genital hygiene. And part of your genital hygiene is not only thoroughly cleaning that area with water or non-organic brand, but also, a water or an all organic or natural brand. Then you have to also remember that toilet tissue is the only other thing that's consistently going in that area. So it's very important to have a wonderful toilet paper brand that does not have chemicals. And yes, you can research. I was an avid Charmin user. My dad lives and breathes by Charmin. I've been using it 37 years. And I had to stop using Charmin because no matter how soft and how bouncy and how fluffy the tissue is, and you don't have to wipe so many times, it's full of chemicals, it's full of fragrances, and it's full of items that are not conducive to our health, that contributes to infertility, that contributes to cyst growth and bacterial vaginosis. So having an imbalance with your pH balance. So guys, just be aware. You just can't see it on TV and say, oh, I want that. You have to take time to research that product and research the ingredients that are included. Also want to shout out Ivy Leaf Farms and Fresh Life Organic in the Texas area that is providing farming opportunities and produce and food opportunities for our culture. Shout out to the OC Veggie Project located in the DFW area in Texas, providing opportunities again for farming and to have people come out and volunteer and provide great sustainable food in a food desert area. Food Empowerment Project. I'm really excited about something they have coming up. They're actually doing a version of Chopped, but it's with all plant-based and vegan chefs. So this is going to be a really cool opportunity. I love everything that they have going on because they are spreading empowerment and advocacy to have really great food options in food deserts. Again, guys, food deserts are areas that don't have great grocery options. They have very poor options, meaning when you go to the produce section, the bananas are already have brown spots on them. You know, the cabbage has already been ate through with bugs. A lot of the canned goods even have dents in them, might be potential botulism or rust. And then when you go outside, every corner has a McDonald's, a Jack in the Box, all of these fast food, Dairy Queen, Sonic, all these fast food options that are adding cholesterol and adding high sugar and oils into the body. So shout out to the Food Empowerment Project. And lastly, the Girly Black Farmer and Beauty and Herbs and Tea is a business that she owns. But the Girly Black Farmer recently purchased, I think it was like over 50 acres of land. And she is now going to produce one of the largest farms for people of color to be able to get produce from. So I think that is such a great option. So definitely check these people out. Definitely will have information in the episode's description. And if I don't have all of their information listed, you could definitely send us a message and I can give you further details. So guys, we're going to go ahead and roll on to our news announcements and events. So just promoting the book tour for NNG's Formula to Kick Cramps Ass, Texas edition, going down in October. This is a blueprint to naturally get rid of menstrual cramps, written by myself and published through NNG Publishing, one of our entities of New Nation Goddess Incorporated. But we will be hosting a book tour, an author talk. We're going to be talking about what are the best practices? What are things that we can let go of? And just the whole taboo around menstrual cycles. We encourage both men and women to come, although women are the individuals going through the actual process. Men, it is what can help us get through this process and make it a pain in G, that is in as in new, in is discuss. If you want to tap into something further, if there's your fan mail. So appreciate it. So to recap, guys, this is episode 5. We did discuss frequency number, taking time. It doesn't take longer than a minute. Even if you're doing online shopping, they give descriptions of the ingredients and the products that you are purchasing. So you are able to learn these ingredients really contain. All right, guys. So be sure to keep up with the latest news, events, and resources. Free email marketings each month just to keep you guys up to date on everything that's going on. So we hope that you had an amazing time. We appreciate you for tuning in. Gratitude to all of our listeners. And we're manifesting a positive, productive, and peaceful day ahead on this Good Wellness and Wealth Wednesday. Peace, guys.